Hey everyone, welcome back to the Above the Line live stream on a Thursday night. Thanks for tuning in and thanks for sticking with us through some technical difficulties. We got that figured out and out of the way, and we're ready to start the show a little late, but better late than never. My name is Taylor Kitchen, if you don't know me, and I'm the host of Above the Line, talking about motorsports all the time, motorsports media your way. And we have a stacked show tonight. I think there's a lot of just kind of silly season news to talk about. There's a lot of just news to talk about. I know some NASCAR drama, I guess, thrown in there as well with some scandal stuff that the AP wrote about. Jenna Fryer, I believe, was the one that posted about that. So we'll get into that later in the show. Also previewing Vegas. We're going to talk about the Roval recap. Right now, looking at the point situation for us all. I think mathematically at this point, Adam probably has the championship for the ATYL crew this year. So we'll see, but I think he's got it. I think he does. So very impressive comeback for him. Just I know at the start of the season was very rough. But we have that going on for us. But we will dive into the Roval a little bit later. But without further ado, we have a very special guest. I've been working with this guy at Racing America for, I guess, the past year, or I guess the start of this year, whatever. Will is an incredibly talented individual that is part of the Racing America team. He runs their social media accounts and does so much more. And we want to talk to him today about his role, what he does. And there's also a really fun fact that he sent me about being a voice in a Chick-fil-A commercial. And I need to ask him about that right off the bat. So without further ado, let's bring Will into the show. Hello.
Hey, what's going on? Just making sure you can hear me.
Yeah, I got you. You sound perfect. Sound good.
Awesome. Well, I had to wipe the blush off right there that you just made me blush with all those compliments. I
Oh,
thank you. I appreciate the
welcome.
kind words. So it's been really cool to get to know you and work with you the last little bit, and really, especially these last couple of months, you and I have worked closely together on a lot of things. So it's cool to see your growth as well.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, it's been
And
a busy past couple of months. Yeah.
yeah, thanks for having me on.
Of course. Yeah, I'm excited to have you here. We have a lot to talk about, and we have to start off with the Chick-fil-A commercial. You sent that fact to me, and I was like, "What?" So tell me about that.
Well, they say the power of social media is crazy, and I do have to agree. A couple of years ago, I had a tweet. Chick Fil A was testing out this sandwich, and Concord is one of the test locations, and this is where I got it at actually. And had this sandwich, and I tweeted about it, and I tagged Chick Fil A, and they actually replied to me in a DM, and they were like, "Hey, thanks for the support. Would you be interested in auditioning for a commercial for us?" And I was, first of all, I had to check. I was like, "Wait, this is the real Chick Fil A account, right?"
Yeah.
It was. So I actually went through kind of a not really an interview process, but a process to get picked, selected to be in that commercial. And unfortunately, it was in 2020, COVID year, so I didn't get to go fly up and record my commercial. And it was only my voice, which it's still really cool to be featured in a commercial like that. That was nationwide, and people hear it. Unfortunately, it doesn't air anymore. They don't have that item, but yeah, a tweet goes a long way. And then they picked me up, and I was in a commercial, and it ran for a little while, and now we're here.
Oh my gosh. First, so I have to know too then, like, what's your normal Chick-fil-A order then? Like, that's one incredible to be in a commercial for them too. I have to know the order.
Great question. So I will rewind just a little bit here. The item that it was a grilled spicy chicken sandwich. They don't have it
Okay.
anymore, like the grilled spicy. But now, if I go to my go-to order is like a spicy chicken sandwich, no pickles, fries, probably like a nice big sweet tea.
Mhm. Can't go wrong
That's
with
the
that.
go-to.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
sweet tea, can't go wrong with that.
yeah, the banana pudding milkshake they have right now is really good. I'm gonna get that other plug in there for them. They don't pay me anymore, but it's that's the go-to order. So yeah, like I said, the power of social media is crazy. You never know what can happen, and your voice might be featured on a commercial one day.
Well, and you know the power of social media for sure with your role at Racing America and the Race Team Alliance. So, to anybody who doesn't know, talk about what you do for your job on a daily basis with Racing America.
Great question. Jack of all trades, master of none. As you mentioned, I do run their social media accounts, so I'm a one man band pretty much. It's pretty much me on the social account. I have some help on the weekends now and then, but Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, formerly Twitter, now X, doing some TikTok stuff. You've gotten to help me get on that a little bit more, and yeah, just kind of running those accounts daily, managing that community, replying to posts, engaging with the community of NASCAR teams that we're involved with, and interacting with their stuff and making sure that their stuff is getting liked and posted and retweeted and all that good stuff. So um, I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe like a typical day for me because my day it changes so much. Just yesterday we were on a shoot with at Penske at Team Penske. Along with being the social media manager at Race America, I do a lot of photography stuff for them as well. So yesterday I was at Penske. We had a couple of shoots. We had three different shoots going on at one time, but I was kind of getting some behind the scenes content of what was going on. So then that way they can use it internally for their stuff and their sponsors, just to show, hey, this is what's going on, and this is what's going on over there with this production. So like I said, it just kind of changes daily, and I guess more throughout the week, I'm focused on the NASCAR stuff and what's going on there, and that obviously happens during the weekend too. But during the weekend, my stuff kind of focus kind of shifts towards our short track stuff that we have when we broadcast events and pushing those events out, getting clips out, working with other photographers and other social media managers that are at the tracks, getting content from them if I'm not at the track, stuff like that. So I don't know. I think that maybe gave you a little bit of an idea of what a typical week might look like for me. But yeah, I'll let you dive into your questions there.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things you mentioned there, but the one thing I think with social media that people realize, but they don't, is it's time consuming. You're always online, news and everything is 24/7. I mean, we sat by each other at the Roval and you had your laptop. So just talk about the amount of work that goes into running social media and keeping things up to date.
Yeah, like you said, it's 24/7. It doesn't stop. A lot of people have 9 to 5 jobs, and uh, you know, they shut their computer off and don't look at it until the next day, or they have the weekend off and don't look at it and don't look at their email. But unfortunately, social media is constant. It happens all the time. It can happen at 12 a.m. There's breaking news. You might have to post about it. So um, sometimes it just seems like, oh, just posting on the internet. But no, you constantly have to be available. You constantly have to be ready to post. Constantly have to be able to whip up graphics or just stop at a McDonald's and get some free Wi-Fi and get some content cranked out. That's um, that's just how it is sometimes.
It's a very stressful job, but there's a lot that goes into it. And you mentioned, you were at Penske yesterday, kind of behind the scenes, capturing content, capturing photos. And even too, like for the shoots that we've been on together, you captured a lot of behind the scenes photos for me as well. So where did the love or the skill of photography come into play for you? Was it something you learned like college? Is it something you've always done? Or was it with this job that you learned photography?
No, that's a great question, and I was wearing many hats at Penske yesterday. I had my laptop and was having to post some news breaking at 12, and while we were at pit crew practice in Noorsville with Penske, and but yeah, it it kind of started during the COVID year, actually, during 2020 when all that was going on. I had started working in racing in 2018 and 2019, and was kind of having to rely on photographers sending me photos for articles or for posts that I would need. Sometimes it would not be what I wanted, or just wouldn't be timely, or just wasn't exactly what I wanted or what I thought we needed. So, um, and during COVID, we unfortunately all had a lot of free time, and that was one of the skills that I picked up during that time. Was I bought a camera and bought some lenses from Facebook Marketplace, and just kind of self-taught myself from some YouTube videos and just talking to photographers at the tracks. Um, a lot of photographers are really open to help you out if you're, struggling, or just like, hey, I'm new, help me out. A lot of photographers are super willing to just, oh yeah, here, I'll show you the ropes. So that was something I kind of got into in 2020, and it really creates a whole nother job in itself when you are doing photography, because also you have to edit the photos and all of that and upload them into galleries, stuff like that. But it's really rewarding. I think you get to capture a lot of really cool moments that you're going to remember forever. You have those, as they say, pictures worth a thousand words. So um, I don't know, it's just something I added to my arsenal, and I'm really glad I did.
Yeah, you talk about adding skills to your arsenal, and I think anytime you work in the media field, having more of those skills in your resume is super helpful. And like you said, sometimes with photography, some of the stuff you were getting wasn't that great or you weren't getting it in time. So you kind of became your own best friend in the sense of where you're relying on yourself to get those photos. And to balance all of those skills with the role that you have, how crucial and how beneficial has that been to have all these skills while you are running social media for Racing America?
Yeah, it's definitely been a huge benefit, but you have to prioritize um, your your mindset of things you have to do. I tell people often, like, social media is my main job. Like, that is my main focus. Like, often photography is sometimes second or third, maybe even fourth priority when I'm at the racetrack, or at something like that. So, like I said, you kind of have to manage yourself. You don't want to get caught up in too deep of being photographer and then get caught up in editing all these photos. But um, you just got to keep adding to your skill set. I'm trying to do a lot of video stuff now. Everybody wants video stuff. So you have to be a jack of all trades. I'd like to be a master of all of them. Unfortunately, I can't be. I'd like to say I'm definitely not a master of social media, but that's probably my strongest suit. But you have to be a jack of all trades. You got to be you, you got to do it all these days.
I feel like when you're so good at so many things, it's hard to be a master at all of them or at least one of those things. So like I feel that too. For me, it's like I want to learn photography and I want to get better at that. But I also know like I do the video work and like the reporting. And so it's hard to balance all of those things. But I wanted to back up because I should have started with this. But how did you get
Yeah,
into racing in general? Like where did the kind of the love for racing and working in racing come from?
that's a great question, and I want to go back with what you said there. It is really hard to try to be a jack of all trades, and you want to be great at photography, you want to be great at videography, but it's so hard when comparison is the thief of joy. It's so hard to,
Yes.
you see all these other people posting this cool stuff, and you're like, I want to do that, and I think I can do that, but it's there's just so many levels to it. But to your other question, so I live in Charlotte now, Concord actually, and I just kind of grew up in it. I know a lot of people. I didn't grow up in it as much as some people, but so I'm originally from Bristol, Tennessee, and
There you go.
yeah, in the late '90s, early 2000s, Bristol Motor Speedway was the place to be. I mean, even before that, but it was a really hard ticket to get at that point. But my dad would go to races, and he would take me to races. We started out, he would take me to, like, the Xfinity or Bush races at that time, and we moved up to go into the Cup races once I got a little bit older. But I think I was going to the Bush. I think I went to my first Bush race when I was like 3 or 4, and then
Oh wow.
it just kind of carried on from there. I haven't missed a Bristol race. I've missed like maybe one or two. I'd have to go back and check. I didn't go to the COVID race. I sat in the parking lot and tailgated for the COVID race, but there was one other race I didn't make it to. I think back in 2011 or 2012. I was pretty sick, but I just was always around it at Bristol. There's some local tracks here around the area too, Kingsport, Lonesome Pine, and the local racing is pretty strong in East Tennessee as well, and you got North Carolina just right over right over the mountain there. So I just kind of got started at Bristol and went to college here in East Tennessee and ended up working at Bristol Motor Speedway. That was kind of my first job in racing, I guess you could say. So I started working at Bristol Motor Speedway, got involved with them, and worked with Kingsport Speedway a little bit too, and then got more involved with Bristol Motor Speedway, and that just kind of snowballed into what I have now and where we're at now, and moved over to Charlotte and doing all of this. So that's kind of where I got my start. It's it was cool to kind of get that family start, I guess.
And I remember we talked about this, I think last time we were together, but having your dad still going to some of the races with you, like, didn't he go to the Bristol race with you earlier this year? Yeah.
Yeah. So last year he wanted to go watch Dale Jr. race, and I normally work the races at Bristol. And, I was like, you know what, I won't do this one. I'll just be a fan. I work the spring race. I'll just get some tickets, and he wants to go. So last year, me and my dad went, and he loved it. He was like, heck yeah, watching Dale Jr. run up front. That was so cool to him. He kind of got out of the sport a little while, um, just with work and life, and just didn't, just wasn't as interested as much. But then when I started working and racing, he got more interested in it again. So um, a couple of weeks ago, he and I went to the Xfinity race at Bristol, and that was really cool. So it's really cool just to remind yourself sometimes of why you like it. Of You got to step back and remind yourself of, okay, this is why I like it. This is cool. You just got to step back and be a fan sometimes.
Yeah, I definitely feel that 100% because you kind of can get so bogged down in the work and it just gets so stressful. Then all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is actually like, this is enjoyable. This is why I'm doing this. So that definitely was a moment for you then for the Xfinity Series race.
Yeah, it was cool. Just it brought back a whole lot of memories. In 2023, we kind of recreated a photo too that we I had taken that he and I took back at the racetrack, probably in going to show my age. It was probably like 2001 or 2002 here, and we kind of recreated this photo. So that was really special.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, but lots of good memories are made at the racetrack, and that's just a reminder. Like, always go back to your roots, and even to bringing families to the track is just much more fun, family and friends. So for sure, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I want to go to the short tracks a little bit. Just kind of that's a little bit of your bread and butter here. What do we need to look forward to for the rest of the year in the short track scene? Drivers maybe to keep an eye on, or big events that Racing America is putting on that we need to keep on our radar.
yeah, it is a big race season, as they say in the short track world. We got the Bigley Memorial Race, or excuse me, not Memorial, but let me jump back here. We have the World Crown 300 coming up next weekend on Racing America. We have actually, let me rewind a little bit more. We have some racing this weekend on Racing America too. We got some racing from Oxford Plains Speedway, the past 400, and then some Show Me the Money series from Montgomery, Alabama. So those are cool. But then, like I said, the World Crown 300, that's coming up next week. That's going to be a big race. It's like 30,000 to win. A lot of big names already entered for that one. Bubba Pollard and Jake Finch, a couple of those other guys. Johnny Sauter are going to be there. So that one's shaping up to be really cool. The weekend after that, we're going to Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway for the All American 400. That's going to be fun. That's one that's always draws a lot of attention. That place is really, really cool. The next weekend after that's Caraway, the North South Shootout with some modifieds. Those are always fun. If
Yes,
you've
love
never
mod.
not a, if you've not got a chance to go to a modified race, you got to see an asphalt modified race. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And then at the end of November, you got the UARA Bill Bigley race down at Freedom Factory in Florida. That's going to be cool. And then after that, you got the big one, the Snowball Derby. So like I said, we're in big race season right now. So a lot of stuff still coming up even after the NASCAR season ends. So be sure to keep an eye out on things in the short track world. Still a lot going on there.
Are you going to the Snowball Derby this year?
Yes, I will
Okay.
be at the World Crown 300. I'll be at the All American 400. I'll be at the Bigley race, and I will be at the Derby as well.
So you have a busy it's off season for NASCAR, but it's not off season. I think that's something that people don't realize too is we don't really have an off season, right?
No, it goes maybe about a month and a half from the end of Snowball Derby. Well, yeah, PRI after the Snowball Derby.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to our sponsors here. PRI, you get you get about a month and a half before things start to kick off in February. Sometimes you get some stuff that starts at the end of January too. I mean, we'll have the New Year's bash at Dillon just right after the New Year's starts, so it's maybe 3 weeks of off
That's
season.
it. Yeah, it's not a huge off season, but it's at least time to just kind of relax and step back, which is very refreshing for sure.
Yeah, and sometimes if you're going to so many events, you don't want to burn yourself out.
Mhm.
You got to take time for yourself and just you know, like I said, prioritize things and make sure you've got covered what you need to get covered, and just kind of just take a step back. Sometimes I know there's just so much going on in the racing world. It's hard to keep track of sometimes.
So to detach from racing, because even though like we love the racing world, we work in it, etc. Like, what do you do to detach, just to give yourself some room to breathe?
Ooh, that's a good question. I do play basketball a lot. That was
Okay.
something I did in high school and college. That I played played basketball. So that's one thing I do to just kind of go put my phone down, not look at social media, just kind of go relax a little bit. So um, play some video games. That's something I try to do as well. So I try to stay active. Maybe just whether it's going to the park and going for a run, or just going walking by the lake at the park or something like that. You just got to, it sounds cliche, but you just got to take care of yourself. Sometimes working in this crazy social media world, you got to take a break and just not look at your phone sometimes. So I know it's hard to do when you're just like it's literally your job, but you just got to detach sometimes.
Yeah, this is a thing that I'm working on. I'm trying to get better at. It's just
Well,
detaching from the phone.
I say that, and you mentioned I'm sitting here typing away at Charlotte Motor Speedway. I've got my computer at the racetrack, but uh, the grind never stops.
Mm-mm. No. You mentioned video games. Do you have a favorite video game?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm not fortunate enough to do the iRacing.
Me either.
I'm gonna say not. I I would spend way too much time doing iRacing if I had the resources to. But I really like playing the console game, the World of Outlaws console game. That's really fun. Just playing NBA 2K. That's a lot of fun. Um, I gotta I gotta play that new NCAA football game. That's a lot of the
I've heard it's
sports
good.
games. So yeah, looking forward to the new NASCAR game that's coming out for the console.
I think that'll be a good way to bridge the gap between those who either for me, it's just iRacing gets so expensive. So I don't even want to dive into that world, at least right now. But
Yeah.
just in having something on console. But even too, like you said, iRacing, you go, I'd spend way too much time on it. Is it just like you want to be able to master it and be like good at it, so you're gonna put all this time into it, or is it just like it's just fun?
Well, it's fun. I've played on some friends' accounts sometimes, but I just think I don't know. I think it would consume me a little bit. I think I would
Yeah.
want to. I don't know. I think I would take it a little too serious, maybe.
Yeah, I would too. Because even then, like I'm playing NASCAR Heat 5. This is like last year. I have like a whole rig set up. I spent like a straight like 5 hours just trying to figure out like a few tracks. And then before I knew it, it was like sun goes down. I'm like, oh my God, I've been on this for 5 hours. It's because I wanted to master it. I wanted to be good at it. But it's time consuming for sure. Sure. Let's see. Let me look at the chat to see if we have any questions. I did want to
Oh
ask. I
yeah.
love ending with this question. Let me
Okay.
scan the chat
Oh
real
yeah. I
quick.
didn't even see the chat over there. That's cool. I didn't even
Yeah,
see that.
everyone's popping off. Hello, chat.
Oh, he said Bush series. Yes, I did say Bush series. Dang
Yeah,
it.
if you if you know the lore of the show, the guys that are in the waiting room right now, the ATYL crew, We have a love for the Busch series, like that era of the Xfinity series. It's just, oh, actually, you know what? That's a good question to ask you. Do you have like a favorite paint scheme or a favorite driver from like the Busch series era of NASCAR?
Ooh. Mm. It's a really good question. I always think about the Buckshot Jones, like the Cheez-It car, like the double
Yeah.
zero. That one sticks out to me. The Wolf cars, the like the 37, like the green and blue. I don't know. I'm kind of drawing a blank on that one, but definitely the Cheez-It cars. I feel like
Yeah.
that's a good question. I might have to do some research on that one. I might have to hit you up on Twitter for that response on that one or something.
Sure. We'll have to bring you back because I know this off season we're gonna do some paint scheme tier lists, and I said at some point early this year that we'd go back to doing a Busch series ranking tier list thing. So we'll bring you back for that, just so we can all reminisce in those paint schemes. But last question I wanted to ask you
Yeah.
for anybody who wants to get into your line of work, social media management, either even to photography, any of that stuff, like what advice would you give them as they're looking to get into this field of work?
No, that's a great question. I appreciate you asking me that. I'm gonna go through the chat here a little bit at the end and just kind of look at those two. But you got to start small. I know
Mhm,
everybody wants to work in the Cup Series. Everybody wants to, do that. There's not there's not a lot of there's like not a lot of people that get to do that. So
mhm,
that's a real privilege. But like I said, you got to start small. And I'm not saying it's unobtainable. Like it's perfectly obtainable. Anything's possible. But start small. You got to start at your local tracks. And yeah, I hate even going this far, but everyone has to do it. You got to volunteer at some point. You got to just
mhm,
volunteer your time and say, hey, what can I do to help you guys? Like, if you see a track that it's close to you that's maybe going on social media or doesn't even have a social media presence or hasn't had one since 2011 or something like that, or reach out to them in person. Obviously they're not going to reach out to you on Facebook if they're not using it. So just kind of start small and hey, how can I help you guys out? And just start from there. You guys need do you guys need a track photographer? Can I help? Does it pay? Maybe eventually, you can get to that point, but just start volunteering. You know, I know there's so many opportunities at the short track level: photography, social media, announcing, videography. Like the world is yours if you go open to these short tracks. It's very open in what you can do there too. So um, my advice is just like to start small there. And in this space and world, it doesn't matter as much what you know, but as much as who you know. So
mhm.
connections in this sport are everything. So don't burn any bridges that you don't want to burn. The the sport is so connected. Like
Yeah.
it's once you get in here, you don't realize how small it is, but um, you just got to start small and kind of like I said, volunteer your time, get to that point where maybe some people are noticing your skills and you're getting better, and people are noticing like, wow, hey, this track's getting a lot of coverage, or hey, I'm seeing them a lot on my feed now. I haven't seen that before. um, and that's kind of how it worked out for me. As I started out at Bristol, did some stuff for them, and ended up working at Kingsport. um, got some real traction there. Ended up going back to Bristol, helping them with some more stuff. And then it just kind of snowballed from there. Like I said, it doesn't, the connections. Working at Kingsport Speedway, I met a guy who does Fox Sports social media, Fox Sports NASCAR social media. So he actually, long story short, he used to work at the track that I worked at, that I volunteered at. So you never know, like, I guess what the legacy is of the people that have came through the short tracks as well. I guess kind of like literally everybody from the racers themselves gets their start at a short track almost. So um, start small. That's my kind of ending advice, I guess. I know it's not where you want to start, but everybody has to start somewhere.
And when you start off small, at the short tracks, you get that experience and you make those connections right there. I mean, it's so important. And I love the piece of advice that you said. It's like, if you notice a track hasn't had coverage since like 2011, like reach out to them, because every company, every track, every whatever, every driver is desperate for some coverage or just some help social media wise. And if you can offer it, go for it. So I think that was awesome advice for sure.
Yeah, thank you. I've been there and done that. You gotta just put in the time and the effort. And like I said, if you see a track that's not, your local track hasn't posted since 2019 or something like that, but they still race every Saturday night, then go investigate, see what's going on here. Um, Everybody's got to start somewhere. I keep saying that, but it's just true.
100%. It's so true. Everybody has to start somewhere. Will, thank you so much for joining the show tonight. For anyone who wants to follow your social media or kind of follow your journey, where can they find you?
Yes, thank you. I am on Twitter, X, Instagram. All of my handles are at Will Bellamy 360 for most of my stuff. You can follow me on there, and also give Racing America a follow if you haven't already. We have a pretty big following on there, and we're just trying to keep it going and spread the word. Racing America at we're on Twitter, X, Facebook. Like I said, you've been helping me out on the TikTok game, so we're on there as well. We have a YouTube channel too. Be sure to subscribe to Racing America's YouTube channel. But yeah, follow me on Twitter, follow me on the Instagram, and connect with me if you guys have questions. I've seen a lot of questions here in chat, or a lot of people popping in. That's cool. If you've got questions on how to break into this industry, or questions on photography, videography, or anything like that, feel free to reach out. I'm an open book. It might take me a day or so to get back to you, but I'll get back to you. Hit me up on LinkedIn too. That's another one too. If you guys aren't on LinkedIn, get on LinkedIn. Like, that's a huge start right there. Just get on LinkedIn, get a presence on there, and just start checking that daily like you do Twitter and Instagram. So that's my ending piece of advice.
Well, thank you so much for joining. I know I'll probably see you next week, but I appreciate you tuning in and joining us tonight, and we'll chat later.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. Sorry we had a little technical difficulties here, but it all worked out, and we made it work. So yeah, I'm sure I will see you next week at some point too, so we can chat then.
Awesome. Well, have a good night. Thanks so much.
Yes, best of luck on the rest of the show. I'll be watching.
Thank you so much. Bye. All right, that was Will Bellamy. Thank you so much, Will, for joining the show. Of course, find him on social media. I will make sure to tag him in a post when we have the full interview up outside of the live, so you all know where to find him on socials. Yeah, we have a lot more to talk about on the show, including the Roval recap, NASCAR news. If you guys have topics you want to talk about, let us know in the chat. But for now, let me pull up the point standings for us here to review them as I bring in the ATYL crew. We got Adam, Dom, and Ben. Hello, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Oh, wow. Your microphone sounds fantastic. Your audio. Oh, uh-oh.
Except the aliens are trying to take me again.
And that's okay. That's totally fine. Well, good to see you all. My goodness. Yeah, Adam, first off, new hat. Love the hat.
It was a surprise and a shock, and it wasn't on my list of things to get over the weekend, but I had to have it.
Well, that's good. I mean, it's a badass hat, and you're ready for next year. But
It
also, your reaction to, you're leading the points, and I think mathematically, do you have it at this point?
No, I
Not
haven't
yet?
locked
Okay.
it up. No.
Okay.
Nope.
Gotcha. Well, you're in the lead. How does that feel? Good?
Feels good. It's comfortable. I won't be satisfied until Martinsville when I have over a race lead, and then it'll be official.
It'll be over. That'll be it. Dom, I hate to bring this up now.
Already know. Don't bother.
It was a bad weekend for Dom.
I think it's also been a bad past 15 minutes for Dom, judging by his jersey and hat as well.
Oh no. Oh, buddy.
Don't bother.
Okay.
Okay, bud.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're here. Ben, I'm glad you're here as well. Good to see you. My goodness, the whole crew. Besides Rob, we missed Rob. Rob was going to be here, but then of course Traffic, the dreaded traffic.
Mhm.
The mass hats in Massachusetts don't know how to drive during rush hour.
No.
Poor
No,
guy.
they don't. Anywho, these are our point standings. Let's move into the drivers' points. The big story after the Roval for at least the Cup Series was Alex Bowman was disqualified. They found that his car did not meet minimum weight requirements. Hendrick Motorsports had the option to appeal. They decided not to, saying we simply just did not give ourselves enough leeway into making that requirement. I know everyone was like, oh, there was a piece that fell off of Bowman's car. Maybe if Hendrick Motorsports decided that wasn't even enough for them to appeal. So we have that. So Joey Logano is in the even numbered year streak, continues potentially. So we'll see. But yeah. Ben, how are you feeling about seeing Joey Logano make it through?
And you don't. I can't. I don't want to make Dom even more upset, so I'm not going to comment at this time.
Go ahead, man. My spirit's already crushed.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. I mean, it continues the streak, or the trend, which is kind of cool. That's a bad hit. I will say not related to Joey, but somewhat related in that Hendrick must have had that 48 really cheated up if they didn't want to go and fight that penalty. So
that's what I was thinking. I was like, oh, something else is up there. But well, Dom, as kind of, Team Joey Logano over there, how are you feeling seeing him make it to the round of 8?
Yeah, I was gutted at first because he did everything right. Other than win the race. He's not really he's only got one road course win in his career, so it's not his forte. But he raced pretty well, just fell off at the end. But Tyler Reddick put on a NASCAR Cup champion drive in those final laps. I mean, if he's not worthy of the title now, I don't know who is. That it was just an incredible drive from him. And I sat back in my chair thinking, well, at least he got beat by someone that was just so freaking determined to make it that they would let no one stand in their way. So that was impressive from Reddick. Got to give Reddick his flowers. And I mean, it got to be honest, this is not how I want Joey to get into the round of 8. Just because now he's got the indirect target on his back. And it's like, you shouldn't be here. You don't deserve to be here. You're only here because they caught the 48 with whatever. I mean, he's got great numbers at Las Vegas, won this race in 2022. That's the car here. He's won there in 2020, 2019 in the spring. He's good there. He's decent at Martinsville too. He's got a win there. The short track package for Penske has been solid, but I mean, it's pretty obvious he's not the favorite, and I don't see him as the favorite, but just it was a pleasant surprise on my flight home from Ohio to get the word that he was actually going in and to see who was going out.
Slight dig, but it's fair. I mean, you cheat, you break the rules, you get caught, and you're on your way out. And I will say for Joey Logano too, like 2018, he was the underdog and he got the championship. So again, it's with this format. You just got to be good at Phoenix. You got to make it to the championship first. Then you got to be the best at Phoenix, and there you go. But I mean, this could put Hendrick under the microscope now that one of their cars has gotten caught. I mean, there's that thought process too. But even too, Dom, you mentioned, Tyler Reddick running the way he needed to run because it's been an abysmal playoffs for him, but he did what he had to do to make it to the next round. You even talked about Austin Cindric, who finished 4th. He had an issue on pit road where they didn't get the tire tight at Kansas, put them in the back of the pack, could not make headway. Then you have Talladega where he was leading and he could have gotten at least a top 5, bearing in mind chaos. Chaos happened. He wrecked out of that race. And then for the Roval, it was a must-win situation for him practically. And he did everything he could. They should be really proud of their effort though, because nobody thought that Cindric would make it this far. But then we have to go on to this part of things, which is this was a bad week to be the 48 car period. With the Xfinity series, Adam and I, when we were at the track, we had thought Parker Kligerman won this thing, seeing the flagman wave the white flag. And then all of a sudden, NASCAR scoring and timing didn't line up with what we saw from the flagman, and he didn't reach the white flag in
I
time.
think I had a perpetual stink face for the last 12 laps of
did.
that race.
We were
Fro-
all saying
From
that.
from my boy not pitting and then to Parker and
Yeah.
everything that happened. It was a rough last 12 laps.
Yeah, the option not to pit was bold for SVG. I get it, but it was bold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a gamble that did not pay off. However, he was still able to salvage a top 3, but just not enough to get to the next round.
Yeah. He fell just short. So I feel like though there are some disappointments with this weekend with, Parker Kligerman and maybe SVG if you're SVG fans, and if you're a Bowman fan, that sucks for you for this weekend and everything. But I do feel like the changes that they made to the Roval just to close this out, especially with turn 7, I think were a win. And Adam, I know you and I talked about this, and just from our perspective at the track, that was really fun to be there and sit right by that turn. For Ben and Dom, from watching at home on the TV and just seeing the coverage there, do you feel the changes that they made to the Roval this year were successful overall?
Go ahead, Ben.
I was actually going to pass to you because I worked all this weekend, so I saw like no laps of the race.
Oh,
Yeah, no, it wasn't bad. I think there really wasn't a good flow with
yeah,
the old layout, because with the Cup cars you can't go as fast in those corners. It's more so just hang on and let it roll through those corners. There is obviously, because it's basically, let's call it what it is, it's basically a U-turn that to get back up onto the main track.
yeah,
That obviously made both great passing zones and great chaos zone. So from that perspective, yeah, I mean, I like when the cars are moving a little bit quicker around the track, a little bit more aggression from the drivers.
yeah.
I can't believe the 45 finished the race, to be honest with you. So that alone was impressive, and the fact that they made the comeback that they did. But, I'm such a traditionalist. I still stick to what I said in the chat from last week's stream. It's that I think if they would just get rid of the straightaway chicanes and the whole infield part, I think we'd have the perfect road course.
Fair. Fair. Yeah, it was overall decent weekend of racing. I know they all can't be home runs. I know everyone was like, "Oh, the Roval was like really boring." Like, it wasn't bad though for the road course racing that we've gotten. So,
You
but
said home run intentionally, didn't
Can I
you?
add to that, Taylor?
I did. Yes, add to it.
Can I add to that? Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
I think when you are actually there in person, it's a completely different feel
Right.
for the Roval, because what I saw on Sunday compared to what I witnessed in person on Saturday was almost night and day.
I mean, and the product that we saw from the Xfinity Series versus Cup is going to be different too. So taking that into account, but you do have a point, like especially like with road courses in general. I mean, being at the track in general, you're going to have a different experience because you're there in person, you're seeing everything with your own eyes. But with this road course in particular, it's so fun because you can see everything almost. And I don't know. It was just really fun to be there in person and see it all, and I watched some of the broadcasts back, and I just did not get the same feel or flow of the race, kind of like what Dom, you kind of mentioned. But
The perks of the Roval is, like you said, because it's a road course within a 1.5-mile racetrack, you can see the whole road course.
yeah,
There's not a lot of road courses where you can say that. Watkins
Right.
Glen can't say that. There's great spots for you to watch the race, but you got to move around to go see all those spots. You can see the whole Roval. So that for sure is one huge plus for that being a road course.
100%. Yeah, it was a fun weekend. We also ended up buying a lot of stuff at the track, Adam and I. So I know during the off season we might have to do like our season long haul of merchandise that we've gotten at the track. I know Dom, you've gotten some die cast during your time working at the track. Ben, I believe you've got. Did you get some things
I
from the track this year?
I haven't bought anything at a track this
Really?
year. This
We
will be
did-
like yeah.
Adam and I did look for some die cast for you, and I know Rob requested. We could not find anything, so
was
we were
strange.
bummed.
I
was
had some obscure
bizarre.
stuff in there, so
Yeah, it's all good, but we'll keep looking. But I know off season we'll have to do some of that merchandise haul content. I have a video out now going through my Roval haul, so make sure to check that out. But well, let's move on
Very
from
good
the
video.
Roval.
You got a good haul.
Thank you. Yeah, I was going to stop collecting 164s, and then Adam and Rob roped me back in.
You lied.
And now I just have a whole box filled with these that I'm going to put in my display case.
That was a lie.
Yeah. Big old lie. So, anywho, let's move on from the Roval. We're now at we're on Thursday now. We love that. We're going to preview Vegas coming up in a minute. But let's go to some NASCAR news for a second. There's been a lot of, I guess, silly season news to announce, and I'm just going to kind of go through this very quickly. And then if we want to stop and talk about anything individually, we can. One piece of news I'm very excited about is Dawson Sutton. He's going to be racing full-time in the Truck Series for Rackley War in 2025. He's been incredible in super late models, pro late models, anything he's racing in, he's done so well. He wins at Nashville Super Speedway all the time. I mean, he wins. And then every chance that he's had in the Truck Series so far, doing one-offs this year for the team, has also been great. So excited to see him in that Rookie of the Year battle in the Truck Series. I think he's going to do wonderfully. We have Spencer Boyd. He's returning next year full-time in the Truck Series with his team. So just made that announcement there with a new primary partner, which is cool. Taylor Gray, the big news here, is going to be in the Xfinity Series full-time in 2025 at Joe Gibbs Racing in the number 54. And Ty Gibbs is written down as the owner of that car, which I think is pretty cool. Other, I guess, silly season news before we kind of talk more about this is Travis Mack is out as the crew chief for SVG, and Darian Grubb is going to be filling in the rest of the year as the interim crew chief as they try to figure out what they want to do with that position. But I guess that's all silly season stuff. Is there anything we want to dive deeper into before we move on?
This is your show, superstar.
Okay. Because for me, like, I guess talking about Taylor Gray, do we feel like, I don't want to say do we feel he's earned a full-time Xfinity Series, right? I don't really know how I want to phrase that, but more so, how do we feel he'll do in the
Looking at how many years he's been in the Truck Series, I think it's about time that he got some type of advancement.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was a Toyota exec looking at the crop of Toyota drivers, I would have picked someone else that's in a title hunt for a truck championship. Yeah.
I mean, valid.
I mean, I don't know. I just, my question is, what is the plan for Corey Heim?
That's where my
that's who I was alluding to.
Yeah. What's the plan for Corey Heim? Yeah, because I mean, Taylor Gray hasn't even won a truck race yet.
Right.
Like, he's come close.
He's got 2 ARCA wins.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's like, I get it. He's probably got money coming in to help him out. That's probably what's aided a lot of the JGR starts he's had this year. But yeah, this just furthers the question of what is, like, obviously they've got gold in Corey Heim.
100%.
That just tells me there's got to be a cup ride waiting for him. Because if you're going to move Taylor Gray up to full-time Xfinity and make Corey run another full truck season, I just don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
They know something I don't, clearly.
I wonder if we're not viewing the Toyota pipeline in full.
Yeah.
Because he is the Legacy Motorcycle Club reserve driver still. So part of me wonders, let me figure out how to use words again. And he he was a third driver for 23XI earlier in the season as well. Maybe this is kind of him just biding his time now, kind of just holding to himself for maybe a 2311 third charter shows up. Maybe Legacy Motorcycle Club figures it out and gets a third car, which I think is light years away at this point from happening.
Yeah, they need to.
We gotta get 2 cars able to finish.
Yeah.
We gotta get 2 cars in the top 29 first before you have that conversation. For like a lap, like that team has fallen in the dismay, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
So maybe this is Heim just kind of biding his time for something better. I
Mhm.
don't know. I don't necessarily like. I don't love the move for Taylor Gray. I'm with Dom of like
It's odd.
it's odd, and he's never won a truck race, and he's only won 2 ARCA races, and they both happened this year. And they happened in an off year for the other good team in ARCA. Like, it's just a really weird. It kind of feels like when your favorite sports team, and no matter what sport, signs that one veteran guy or that one guy to like fill out the roster and fill out the cap space, and you're just like, you signed a guy that has like an AI generated name and hasn't really done anything, or like is just a computer generated guy. He'll like go on the team every now and then and play, and you're like, why are you here? Like,
Yeah.
you kind of do nothing. So yeah, it's an interesting move for sure for Gibbs, on top of just not only that, but just having Ty Gibbs now apparently own the 54 car.
Yeah, like, and for that, I can understand. It is, trying to prepare for the future, and Ty Gibbs getting him more, I guess, business
Future.
experience. I swear, my entire day has been SpongeBob references. I kid you not. It's been all day. But
Future.
with Ty Gibbs, though, I guess why not?
There's
I
no
don't know.
surprise there.
There's no surprise.
No, there's no surprise. It's just like I didn't expect it maybe this early.
Yeah.
I'm just glad. Let's just be thankful it's an Xfinity car.
Yeah.
That would have been odd if he owned his own car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, silly season news right there. Other silly season news that John mentioned right here, which I don't even know why I didn't have this written down, but this is big. Hailie Deegan is leaving NASCAR, and and she's moving to Indy next. So,
Okay.
like,
Yeah.
I guess
Good
more
on
so
you.
just
Go back to dirt, but good on you.
What
yeah.
he said. Okay.
More so just to say it because it's happening, and I know everyone's been in the comments, at least in my social media, asking what's up with Hailie Deegan. And I was like, I don't know, but yeah, Indy next is where she's going, so I don't expect her to be racing in NASCAR next year.
Cool.
Just-
It's not like a bad thing. It's just kind of like, and this is nothing against John or anyone in chat who is a fan of her, but I'm just like, I'm kind of over the Hailie Deegan hype and the Hailie Deegan experiment in some ways.
I think a lot of
unfortunately that crashed and burned pretty aggressively.
And that's my opinion. Like,
Yeah.
if you're a fan of her, please be so happy for her. And that's awesome. She does get
Definitely.
that opportunity.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But like, I don't know. Maybe it's because I've been somewhat invested in this since her time in ARCA when I've been following the series. But I'm just kind of over it now,
Yeah, and I think to John's point, it's probably best for her because she really hasn't done anything. She's had opportunities in some of the best equipment in the truck series, fell very short.
Best equipment in general. Like, she drove DGR cars in ARCA. She drove
McNally cars for the ARCA West.
Yeah, she was when they were good. She drove. I can't even remember all the truck teams.
DGR.
DGR, which then
right before they changed Tricon.
I couldn't remember if she drove for Tricon or if she left right before they.
So they changed to Tricon when they went back to TRD.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. But she drove for them, and then she drove for Stuart Haas a little bit. Like she made that start, the one start that was the.
That was at SS Green, which I think
SS Green Line.
prepared.
Yeah.
So, but like, and then she had the AM stuff. Like, I just like it's whatever. I mean, man, like you tried.
If her dropping out of the TRD is what killed her career, because when she moved to Ford, she'd never won again.
Yeah. I think with the Toyota pipeline, and Ben, maybe you could speak more to this, is like, I feel like there's so much talent, but not enough place to put it. And when these drivers have an opportunity to go somewhere else that's open, they're going to take it.
We go to our senior Toyota analyst.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm on the payroll at Toyota now. Plot twist. No, I mean, you see this. You're seeing it right now as we speak with the Corey Heim stuff. We saw it with the Jesse Love stuff. Like, Hailie Deegan stuff of it. I can't even think of any. And like, we're now at this point, like, okay, if we look at the pipeline, you've got Taylor Gray's moving up. William Swalch is rumored to probably move up to Xfinity as well. Everyone's been like, William Swalch is going to go to the truck. And like, from what I'm hearing, rumor is he's just skipping trucks and doing something else. Like
rumor.
that's odd. It's not even like the funny part is it's not even like a rumor. That's been like their plan this whole
Yeah.
entire time and have been open about it. But everyone's like, what are they doing? And I'm like, if you look at like 3 years ago, this was totally public. But like it is like the pipeline is very crowded at times, and it's also not.
Yeah.
Like people are just very apt to leave the pipeline. Like Jesse Love left the pipeline. There's probably a chance. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
They all find a spot, but they all
Yeah.
expect a cup ride the next year.
Yeah.
Hence the problem with the pipe. It's like, yeah, there's great drivers in the pipeline right now, a lot of young drivers.
There's just
But
nowhere to go.
there's only there's what 8 Toyotas full time right now in Cup.
So
Mhm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
Legally 6 next year. So, like
Legally.
there's only so many there's only so many spots.
I mean,
6 are on the payroll for next.
yes. And I think of this too. Like I kind of think about like if you're at a company and you're like expecting a raise and you feel like you put in your dues and you want to get a raise, and these drivers are expecting like a raise like after year 1. That's not always going to happen. And when they're like, "Ooh, a company like B is going to give me my raise," might not be at the rate I want, but it's like a spot open, they take it, and then they crumble and fall. So I don't know. But yeah, there's other news there too with the NASCAR is very adamant on next season being 32 chartered cars. They are not wanting to grant 2311 or front row.
Before we move on, can I say one more thing?
Yeah. Go for it.
This ties in the Toyota pipeline stuff. We just need more people that are like Xfinity and truck lifers. Like they just spend their days down there and just live
Honestly,
it.
yeah.
We need more Matt Craftons and Justin Allgaiers in the world. And maybe Gio Rogero's meant to be that, and maybe Taylor Gray is too. I don't know. But
it's like I hate to use Ben Rhodes as an example, but like
Love that.
we need guys who like tried to climb the ladder, but then realized I love the trucks. I'm just gonna stay in the trucks.
Yeah.
Like Justin Allgaier climbed the ladder all the way to Cup and then became an Xfinity lifer. So like guys like that were there. Like I hate to say like they come up short of Cup because they're the top 3 series of NASCAR for a reason. Like it's still a top series. You're getting paid good money.
Yeah.
So
I mean, throw a bone to Rob, Justin Bonsignor, and Patrick Emmerling. They're probably wheel and modified lifers, but like they're damn good ones at it.
Yeah.
I can think of a current Cup driver and a current Xfinity driver that need to stay. One is advancing, one isn't.
Go ahead. I'm lost.
Oh, okay.
I'm lost.
Cole.
Yes. Okay. There you go. Yeah. Cole Custer. I would agree with you.
Stay. And John Hunter needs to drop back to trucks.
I agree. He's
better there.
Or Xfinity?
This is a question.
Or Xfinity.
This question for chat: is anyone in chat a John Hunter Nemechek fan? And if so, who hurt you? And show us on the doll where they did hurt you. I don't know anyone who's like, man, I love John Hunter.
The rails have come undone.
The rails have come undone.
All because of my question.
The thing there is like if you're like a John Hunter Nemechek fan because of the family, then you went through 10 years of Nemco Motorsports in Cup. Like, man, dedication. Like, first of all, Purple Heart nominee.
You Medal of Valor, like you deserve it. You deserve the world on a platter.
Oh yeah, no, I do agree with you, Adam. It's John Hunter Nemechek. He was so successful in trucks and Xfinity in terms of win count. Like, just go back there, be happy.
And seeing how successful Cole's been dropping back down to Xfinity.
Yeah, I like him to stay.
I'm nervous for next year.
I'm terrified.
Your paycheck.
I'm Ben. Nice to meet you. Terrified.
Thank you, Ben.
She's Taylor-fied.
I'm Taylor-fied.
Our fearless leader, our queen.
We need a soundboard.
We do. I love how Discord you have a soundboard and that can get so nutty so fast.
We will turn into a morning radio show so quick.
Welcome to the drive-by with ATYL. You're on 97.5, The Quarry.
Your morning commutes will never be boring again. They'll be as chaotic as ever. So, yeah. I mean, and we also don't know. We don't know what Chandler Smith is doing next year either. Speaking of Xfinity, with
do we still not? I forgot he kind of existed. Also, I'm not gonna lie about it.
Chandler Smith.
Same here.
I haven't had a lot of sleep this week, guys. It's been a bad week.
Oh no.
Chandler hasn't. Yeah, I guess the 81 still isn't confirmed for next year, is it not?
I
We
guess
don't have it here.
the 81
no,
and the 18 are not confirmed to my knowledge.
Well,
Yeah.
the 54 is coming back, so it's taking either the 81 or the 19, or
Mhm.
no,
And I
the
would
19's
assume-
already taken. That's
Yeah.
right. Ooh,
Yeah.
uh-oh. We got
So-
muddy waters, folks.
One of them is probably going to
I wonder.
driver.
Really?
I wonder if they'll just drop the 81 and put Chandler in the 18.
Yeah.
That's true too.
Yeah.
Because it's
Or the
kind of
20.
crazy that we don't know what he's doing yet, knowing that all the Joe Gibbs drivers are starting to get announced. It's what's going on there.
Yeah,
So who knows?
could just be in the middle of like contract restructure or something like that.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I mean, like the writing was on the wall for a long time that Carson Kvapil was going to get a full-time ride, but
Oh yeah.
remember
yeah.
they got to fill a schedule of sponsors, so they're probably still doing that.
Yeah, there's still a lot of drivers that we don't know where they're going from. Truck, Xfinity, and Cup. There's a lot of unknowns, which is okay. I want to move on, though, speaking of Joe Gibbs Racing, to a fun little, not fun, but an interesting piece of news that came out from AP this week. Apparently, a Joe Gibbs Racing engineer is caught up in scandal. Apparently, they've been they're in a contract here with the team, and they've been caught selling proprietary information to a rival team. Rumored to be RCR based on context clues. AP heard that one team with no cars in the playoffs paid the engineer cash in exchange for setup information. Ty Gibbs, even to a few weeks ago, I don't think this was related to this at all, but was like, I wonder where RCR found all their speed after Richmond. NASCAR is aware of this, but won't act on this until the teams file a complaint. But words. Didn't this happen in IndyCar? Yes. With
This
like the
happened in
Rahal
ARCA.
Lindemann? Well, it didn't happen in ARCA. I feel like it's happening so much this
In
year
ARCA with Will
alone.
Kemmel. It happened in ARCA with Will Kemmel because he was like selling setup stuff off a long time ago.
It happened in
too,
Formula One.
Happened in Formula
Yeah,
One.
so
Yeah.
I was going to say, I'll bring that up, Adam. In 2007, a disgruntled Ferrari employee and McLaren were in cahoots, but
Yeah.
McLaren apparently got their hands on a lot of Ferrari's technical data. And to give you an idea of the absolute extreme consequences for this, McLaren got fined $100 million and got kicked out of the World Championship. So that's the extreme.
See, that I didn't know. The fine there. God.
I don't obviously I don't see that happening,
Oh,
but
no.
I'm sure
No.
there will be hefty fines and hefty penalties, and we could see an FBI raid. So hey man,
Right, hold on.
keep your eye on I-77 the next couple weeks.
You see some unmarked cars heading northward, you know where they're heading.
Oh yeah.
The best part is they'll be stuck in traffic the whole time. It'll be a delayed raid.
That government bill won't pay for the toll.
No. Oh God. So much is happening. My goodness. Anywho, gang.
Oh wow, that was 2013. Never mind. Sorry.
You're good.
I was reading up. I couldn't remember when it was in 2013 that the whole Frank Kemmel ARCA stuff was that Venturini sued Frank because Frank was allegedly taking photos of the cars in the shop setup wise and sending them to other people and selling the data. So
incredible.
So yeah, it's nothing new. It's all scam and steal from your work, kids.
Espionage at its finest.
Anywho.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
We'll get them next time. Let's move on to our preview.
Wait, we didn't talk about the charter stuff. Okay, we're not going to talk about the charter stuff.
Like,
moving on.
Right now, it's just that NASCAR doesn't want to give 2311 or Front Row Motorsports their charters. They're planning on running next year with only 32 charters. But, like, that's not confirmed yet until it's all seen in front of a judge. Then it's done with. So, like, there's that update on what NASCAR's viewpoint is and what their
just the audacity, though.
But the audacity. So go ahead, Dom. I'm going to find this tweet.
Finger up.
I don't get like the difference between being chartered and not being chartered, because they still get to run the full schedule,
guaranteed revenue, and starting
the money,
and you get the media part of the media,
guaranteed TV money.
Yeah,
guaranteed TV money.
Yeah. With this new $1 billion, however many $1 billion deal that went down.
Not guaranteed doesn't mean they're not getting it.
No, but
and
that
that
doesn't
would
mean
go
they're
in
getting
towards-
all of what they could get. Is the thing.
That would
Right.
go towards the lawsuit of being like, we didn't sign up for a charter, we didn't want to, and now we're not getting paid at all.
Well, in NASCAR, according to Bob Pockrass, in one of their statements, they said, "quote NASCAR is working on reallocating funds that the plaintiffs, 2311 front row, would have received to increase prize money and other special rewards for the 2025 season for the benefit of the teams that timely executed the 2025 charter,
Less charters, more money.
as well as open teams who can
Revenue
compete to win the increased prize money." That also said NASCAR opens this filing with, quote, "plaintiffs have filed a meritless suit against NASCAR alleging baseless antitrust claims in order to obtain commercial agreements they previously rejected and to attempt to extort more favorable contract terms."
It's a lot of professional words for a playground argument.
This is like when
Honestly,
Metallica
yes.
sued everyone for having like metal references in their
Yeah.
stuff.
You lost me.
Basically, NASCAR is just saying, like, your point is like baseless because you're just mad that we didn't give you the terms that you wanted. So this lawsuit means shit. Swear
Is
jar.
this-
But yeah.
Is this just a giant game of nan nana boo boo?
It feels like it.
It's all court cases, if we're honest here, that are not
Yeah.
involving like batter situations.
Yeah. So that's the update with the charter stuff right now. Obviously, we'll know more in a few weeks as to like what's really going to happen to those teams next year as we continue like the lawsuit and all this other stuff. But that all said, we got to get the show on the road, folks, because I know we started the show a little late because technicalities.
I think we should buy those charters.
So,
Yes.
do you have like how many million? Like 40 million is what the last few charters
I've got
sold
like
for?
$30 in my wallet.
Okay, I have a credit card. That
Okay, well, what does it max out at?
Can we run
1,500, but it's halfway
124
full
scale
right
cars?
now. Dead.
If we can run a team with 124 scale cars, we'll be okay.
I think
I'll
so.
send it to you.
Here, we've got the nose of the Kligerman car. If we can
We
just
do.
build around it, we can just show up and enter the show.
What if we just we could do that. Right?
Let me call my people.
Well, yeah, let me call my people. Adam, you call your people.
Daddy, anybody.
We can fundraise. We can do this. We got this.
Mark could fund
Do
this.
it. Because my question is too, if like
A
those
GoFundMe.
a GoFundMe, but then my question is like, if those charters aren't going to run next year, are they free?
France family racing, baby.
That's what I'm concerned about. I don't want that at all.
I think that
Gonna
was
happen.
That was part of the problem.
That was part of the problem.
lawsuit.
That was a lingering issue.
Monopolization, folks.
Oh.
All right, seriously, though, we
Steal
got to
from
move
where
on.
you work, kids.
All right, Dom, it's your time to shine. Projected
Is
top
it?
10. Vegas, yes.
Well,
Yes.
all right. Let's get
You'll
this over
shine
with.
more than the Guardians right now.
Here you go. Hopefully, I did this in like 5 minutes. Hopefully, this all is correct.
So-
Fingers crossed. It was a busy day.
All right, let's see.
Love you guys.
I've got the stats here. We got Joey first, Truex second, Keselowski third, Kyle Busch fourth, Kyle Larson fifth. Top 5 is correct. Blaney sixth, Denny 7, Reddick 8, Suarez 9, Bell 10. Yep, all good.
Beautiful.
Well done.
All right.
Well done. Congratulations. Paint schemes don't matter. We got the cars right. Perfect.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, yeah. So let's start here. This is I look at these numbers too, and remember, we've only been racing at the fall Vegas race since 2018, so
Mhm.
these are still pretty fresh numbers. Not as concrete as some other races, like Talladega. But Joey Logano is number one because he has a single-digit average start, average finish, and no one else in the top 10 has that.
Killer.
Has the win in 2022. He, along with Truex, Keselowski, Larson, Denny, are in the top 10 with a win in the fall race at Vegas. The only outstanding one is Kurt Busch back in 2020. But Joey Logano has an 8.7 average start, 8.5 average finish. Very consistent. He has 184 laps led. He led the most laps once. And if I pull up here, I put down who has top 5s and top 10s. Joey's got 2 top 5s, 1 top 10, which is not the best of our top 10. But just his average numbers were just so good. That's what put him at number 1. But honestly, this is a weekend where I say number one on our board is up for debate. If you look at Martin Truex Jr., he's got the best average finish, 4.7. That's the best in the entire field. Won this race back in 2019, has 4 top 5s, which is the most in the field, and 2 top 10s. So I think the stats say Martin Truex Jr. is going to win this race. He has an average start of 13.3. That was the one thing that kept him out of being number one. Has 138 laps led the most laps once, has completed every lap, just like Joey Logano. Truex, I think, is the statistical favorite for this race. But again, not being in the playoffs could hurt him a little bit. I know that the playoff cars get a lot more attention going into these race weekends, but we saw Ross Chastain win Kansas. So anything can happen. And this would be a great way for Truex to end out his full-time career. Brad Keselowski is third. He has not won the fall race, but he has won, he won 2018. Sorry. He did win the spring race 3 times. So he is very good at Las Vegas. Finishes a 1st, 3rd, 13th, 7th, 17th, and 4th. Very good numbers for Keselowski. 3 top 5s, 1 top 10. One more thing to mention about Martin Truex. Has never finished outside the top 10 in the fall race at Vegas.
There you go.
Another reason to pick Truex as your favorite.
Then you have
Brad
hope.
Keselowski has a 7.5 average finish. Go ahead, Taylor. Sorry.
I was going to say Ben has hope, but maybe
Nah,
not.
man. This is the year, baby. It's not going to happen.
Sliver of hope.
Keselowski has 119 laps led, has completed every lap as well. So Kyle Busch is 4th, which is adorable. Has 3 consecutive 3rd place finishes, which is very impressive. Has 3 top 5s consecutive, 2 top 10s to his name. He is 4th on the board with a 6.8 average finish and an average start of 10th. So the numbers for his hometown race are very good, but only 9 laps led and has not DNF'd. So he's a consistent racer at Las Vegas. The spring Vegas race was good for them too. I know it's been a bad year for that team, but they did have both cars had a good spring Vegas race. So I would not be surprised to see Kyle be competitive. Again, I don't see him winning, but I think he'll be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
The man of the hour, Kyle Larson, 5th on the board, has won this race before. He's the defending winner of this race, and he also won in the spring, so he has got this place down to a science. 2 top 5s, 2 top 10s for Kyle Larson, 8.6 average start, 11.5 average finish, 254 laps led, has led the most laps once, but he does have 1 DNF. That's what kept him out of the top 3. So 5th on the board is Larson. 6th is Ryan Blaney, the reigning, defending NASCAR Cup champion.
Oh, yeah.
Still in it to win it.
Hell yeah, brother.
Has not won at Vegas, but has 3 top 5s, 2 top 10s. So very good numbers for Blaney. 9.3 average finish. Very solid numbers for car number 12. Has 49 laps led, no DNFs. 7th is Denny Hamlin, who won this race back in 2021. His average starts and finishes are both double digits. Average start 13th, and then 11th is the average finish. 290 laps led, which is the most in the field. Has led the most laps twice, most in the field, but does have 1 DNF. So that is why you see the Yahoo number 11 in 7th. Tyler Reddick is 8th on the board, and he also has really good numbers. Only 4 starts, I believe. Yes, only 4 starts. So because of not racing 18 and 19, that doesn't really help the case. But his finishes, after 2020, he finished 38th, not a good one. But since then, 6th, 6th, and 8th. So good finishes for Reddick. Average start of 9th. I can see Reddick being a definite player in this race. 37 laps led, 1 DNF. Daniel Suarez is no longer in the NASCAR playoffs, but he's 9th on our board. 19.7, 17.2 are his averages. Nothing very spectacular, but consistency is key, and that's what he is. Has 60 laps led, no DNFs, 5 laps short of completing all of them, so must have gone down a lap in a couple of races, or maybe just one, didn't have a good day, but has no DNFs. He's completed every race. And finally, it is Christopher Bell, one of the big favorites to win the title, came just feet away from winning this race last year, but has finishes of 24th, 24th, 34th, and 2nd, so his numbers aren't spectacular. 11.5 and 21st are his averages. 61 laps led, 1 DNF. And that is your top 10. Looking at our stat leaders across the board, best average start is, I'll let you guess, you're wrong. It's Daniel Hemrick with 6th.
God.
Say what?
Wow. Okay.
Best average finish is Martin Truex, 4.7. My phone is blowing up because it appears that the Guardians just tied the game. So I guess
Spoiler alert.
We're not
Spoiler.
Detroit.
yeah. All right, I can smile again. Yeah, 4.7 best average finish in the field. That belongs to Martin Truex Jr. Brad Keselowski, Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, and Kyle Larson are your only winners for this race. All have single wins. So again, the trend is we get a new winner every year of this race. Could see that again. This could be the chance for Kyle Busch to change the world.
Dear God.
Only pole winners are Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick, Eric Jones, and Christopher Bell. Eric Jones was the big surprise for me, but I believe that was in 2018. He started on pole position, but interestingly enough, he has not led any laps at Vegas. Laps led, again, Denny Hamlin is leader in both categories. He's led 290 laps. That is more than any other driver. He's led the most laps twice, more than any other driver. Laps completed, Joey Logano, Martin Truex Jr., Brad Keselowski. Your top 3 are the only 3 to complete every lap in the Vegas fall race. And our DNF leader with 2,
Austin Dillon.
Bubba Wallace.
Damn. Close.
Okay.
And yes, the proverbial where's Chris Buescher. He's 12th.
There you go. See, not far
Playoff
off.
drivers outside the top 10. Chase Elliott, 14th. William Byron, 15th. I believe that's it.
Yeah.
Could be everybody.
Jinx.
Looking at Chase Elliott's numbers, because I know people will be interested in hearing them. Kind of all over the place. 36th, 4th, 22nd, 2nd, 21st, 32nd.
This is not a track he's been consistent at. It's plagued that team.
Has got a DNF there. He's got 86 laps led. But again, that's just because Hendrick Motorsports brings great cars to Vegas. But yeah, my goodness. Those are very surprising numbers for Chase Elliott, who's been pretty solid everywhere.
Yeah.
Obviously, we give exception to like Talladega, Daytona because of how much of a wild card they are. But yeah, I mean, he's pretty good. He's pretty consistent everywhere in terms of his numbers. But this one has not been too kind to him, which looking at the way this playoffs has gone and just how good our top 8 is.
Yeah.
One slip can cost you a run at the championship. So Chase Elliott needs to have a day on Sunday.
Yeah, Vegas is the track I'm nervous for him for. Homestead, he should be great. No DNFs, an average finish of 10.4, one of the best in the field. Martinsville, solid there as well. I mean, Hendrick Motorsports is good there as well. But for Elliott, it's Las Vegas is where I'm nervous for him at. But like you said, it's one of the strongest, championship round of 8s that we've had. I think
William Byron too won the spring race in 2023 pretty handily.
Yeah.
So just because his fall numbers aren't good, I don't put any stock into that. Expect him to be really good on Sunday. I mean, just expect all the Hendrick cars to be good.
Yeah.
Expect all the playoff drivers to be good.
Yes. And at this point, they should all be good. If it's the final 8, nobody should be racing like crap. I mean, these should be the best of the best that we have in the round of 8. So,
But the
yeah,
numbers scream Martin Truex Jr. Joey Logano just has more consistent numbers across the board. But if you're looking for like finishing results, Truex is your guy.
yeah. Well, we will see if Martin can get it done this weekend, maybe.
Or if Ben jumps off his roof. We'll find out more next week on As the
Stay
ATYL
tuned.
Turns.
Yeah, tune in next week to see Ben's mental state then, and if it improves or if it doesn't. We don't
It's
know.
just like if you could dissolve into like what this is, it's just the monkey with the cymbal. It's just smashing back and
Oh.
forth as fast as it can.
My God.
Screeching at the top of its lungs too.
Well, hopefully next week is a better week. I know at this point, at
No.
least for the NASCAR season, everyone's a little burnt out. I know life right now is stressful for everybody, but I hope everyone's doing okay. You have a chance to chill this weekend, enjoy the race. But that is it for this episode of Above the Yellow Line Live. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Of course, make sure to go to tobychristie.com to read all your latest NASCAR stories. And also go to AboveTheYellowLine.com. We have these hats on sale for the entire month of October, and they go towards a good cause. There's an organization called Dysautonomia International. They are the leading organization in research, advocacy, and awareness for dysautonomia. It is an illness that I have, and I spread awareness for Dysautonomia Awareness Month. But all proceeds from this hat, when you buy this, go to Dysautonomia International. So good cause right here. And when you purchase a hat, you get entered into a raffle at the end of the month where we'll give away a die cast, some ATYL merchandise and stuff, just as a thank you for giving back. So give back. Go to AboveTheYellowLine.com, grab your merchandise, grab one of these cool hats, only available in October. And check us all out on social media. You all know our handles. They're on the screen for you here. They've been on the screen. They're in the link in the description. All this stuff. So, as always, we're a chaotic bunch, and we appreciate you joining the chaos this Thursday. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, and we will see you all next time after the Vegas race for a recap, and of course, next week for the live stream where we will have more shenanigans. I'm so concerned for you, Ben. To send your way.
That was my therapist.
Thank you all so much for tuning in.